Hello, and welcome to another Game Nexus Mame review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, released in 1989. Here's your intro. As I was saying, this game was released in 1989 by Konami. And as you can see, what I'm playing here is the two-player Japanese version because I wanted to select a turtle other than Leonardo without having to assign my controls.
Hang on, April.
Now, I remember when I was young, this game was very popular in the arcades because it was one of the few four-player arcade games, like along with the Simpsons arcade game as well. And you and up to four of your friends could play this Ninja Turtles arcade game and be all four turtles. I'm Donatello here because he has the best reach with his bow. And the one thing I liked about this game is how you have all these different foot soldiers that have all the different kinds of powers and everything. Like you see, there's one that throws ninja stars, there's just the regular ones that punch and kick you. And, yeah, this game was released on only one home console, to my knowledge, which was the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was released as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, because the Ninja Turtles game was released on Nintendo, and then later on it got released as the second game in the series. Even though technically it was only the first game of, you know, the arcade games, but they had to differentiate it. In Japan, on the Nintendo or the Famicom, this was released as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It didn't get that to the arcade game, because in Japan, the original game was released as Gekikame Ninja Den, which roughly translates to Legend of the Powerful Ninja Turtles, so they didn't have to rename this game when it hit the Famicom. And that's one part I really love about the arcade version of this game, is all the voice samples that are in it. Now, this game had actually got a few home computer releases. You had your all in 1991 by released by ImageWorks and actually ported by Probe Software. You of course had your ZX Spectrum, Amiga, Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, as well as PC and Commodore 64 releases. And it goes without saying, in the European releases we got the Hero due to some kind of censorship in Europe. I know I've heard various stories about why it was changed. And, of course, one of the most popular versions for people here is that in March 14th of 2007, Ubisoft, along with Digital Eclipse, who did the actual porting, had released it on Xbox Live Arcade with full four-player co-op multiplayer, which is very nice, online and offline play with up to 4 controllers, or of course Xbox Live. And sadly, according to what I'm reading here, that has since been removed from the Xbox Live Arcade. So yeah, you can't buy it anymore.
Who put the lights out?
And now that one voice sample there, the duh who lets the lights out, I honestly don't think that sounds like any of the Ninja Turtles from the show, because if you didn't know, this game was based off of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon from around the same time. And another fun fact is, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, there was actually another version of this as well. But just like the Xbox Live Arcade version, the voice clips were edited out because the actual voices were copyrighted, and I guess they didn't want to pay royalties to the company to actually use the voice samples. So if you ever play the Xbox Live Arcade or the version on Battle Nexus, you won't hear any of these cool voice samples, which is really sad. And that's another thing I find weird about the arcade version, as opposed to some other Ninja Turtles games. Your Ninja Turtle will actually say pizza time before they take the pizza. And I always thought that was funny when I was young and I used to play this as the Nintendo version. And the lady you can actually harass by just like waving your weapon at her. I just always thought that was hilarious, and it was just like kind of like a random addition to the game. And one thing, the weirdest thing that never struck me as strange when I was young is that the foot soldiers were purple. Because, you know, that's not really a normal color of like boys' things at the time. But, you know, we just simply never questioned it because it was just the way stuff was. And if you didn't notice already, you're going to see me die a lot in this because I can honestly say, like, I'm very much used to the Nintendo version, but I never really played the arcade version all that much until, like, doing this video. And, of course, when the Xbox 360 version came out, I played that a lot, of course. And I'll mention it more in my actual video for it, but one of the big differences in the Nintendo version is that you had longer stages, which, like, in this stage in the Nintendo version, there was another whole section, and then you finally got here. And, of course, there were a couple of added stages, too, which I thought was really nice. But that's really enough about the Nintendo version for now. But we'll get back to that in another video here.
You are dead. Still playing things getting any prettier.
I always thought that was kind of weird, shell brain. That doesn't even like make any sense if you ask me, because it's like the shells on their back. It's not really in their head. Like, if the Ninja Turtles had like shells on their heads, I could understand that comment. But otherwise, I guess it's just Bebop here being stupid. And I as a little kid, I can honestly say I always thought Bebop and Rocksteady were like very funny villains, because they always had they were like really stupid, but Shredder never like wised up and never thought, you know what I need to do? I need to get like new guys, because these guys are just really hard. And now, I didn't mention it back when I was fighting Rocksteady, but the thing I hate the most about Rocksteady is when he backs up and he starts shooting his machine gun at you, because unlike Bebop's like the weird circle ray gun here, Rocksteady's machine gun just tends to hit you a lot, and it's harder to escape. And this is one stage I can honestly say I like the Nintendo version music for this stage better than the arcade version. Because like this is one that, like, for those first two stages, the Nintendo version song was exactly the same, but of course the arcade version like sounded a bit better. And as I was mentioning, here's more of these like different foot soldiers. You got these guys with like these like scimitar little swords, and then you got these guys with these big hammers. And of course, it goes without saying this game has beautiful graphics. They just look wonderful, even in today's standards, if you ask me. And now here are the Mousers, which, if you never really watched the cartoon, there was a character who you're going to see later in this stage named Baxter Stockman. And he made these as a thing to get rid of mice, hence the name Mouser. But of course, he went all crazy and became a villain, and later got mutated into a big fly man by Shredder. And you'd think he'd be like a friend of the Ninja Turtles, but of course it didn't turn out that way, or he wouldn't have been a big villain to anybody. Because he gets all mad and then he just kind of goes all crazy. And the Mousers are another one of those annoying things in the game where they will get on your hand and you have to keep on pressing the button so they get off, but every time it happens you get hurt at least one little pellet of your life. And I remember when I was young in the arcade, that was something that was definitely annoying, when there was something that like was almost impossible to avoid. So it just like took your life away, and you know, at that time you were pumping quarters into this machine. And yes, that portcullis there is very very mean, and it will really take a lot of life out, as you saw when it stabbed my guy there, which wasn't really all that nice. I'm not really a fan of like area effect obstacles like that, but you know, you have to deal with them. They're not too bad. And you'll notice here we're already to the end of the stage. And now a few more foot soldiers, and then we will get the ending boss of this stage. And this is Baxter Stockman, who I was mentioning earlier, who actually made the Mousers. And notice the ones that come out of his machine are actually like red and white instead of blue and white, which I guess that distinguishes them, even though they act exactly the same. And the thing that when I was playing this, doing this footage, I found it kind of annoying how he's a little bit hard to hit because he moves up and down on the screen a little bit more than anyone in the other bosses. Especially like Bebop and Rocksteady, they usually went across back and forth on the screen, so it was a little bit easier to get them. And if you're wondering, in Japan, this is called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Super Kame Ninja.
Come and get 'em, shell brain.
There's another reference to that shell brain insult again. I remember playing like a parking lot stage like this when I was young, and like when those cars ran me over, I was like, oh my god, that car just ran me over. That's crazy. And now those spear guys are another enemy that really annoys me in this game, because they can throw their spear, but when they're holding it, they got quite a reach, and they just tend to like poke you just a lot. I can remember one of the first times I did that whole explosive barrel thing when I was young. I didn't really know what it would do, and I just kind of stood by it and lost a bunch of health. And of course, like after that, I learned that it's not something you want to stand by. Let's take out a few more of these foot soldiers here. And of course, it goes without saying that this game is best if you're playing the 4-player version on either Xbox 360 Arcade or the arcade version, and have 3 friends to play it with, because as you can see from how this game is designed, it's made for 4 players. And what I've seen is when you have more players in this game, it will actually throw more enemies at you, which I always thought was a really cool thing. Now this is similar to Rocksteady's machine gun. Those machine gun foot soldiers just tend to shoot you really fast, and you don't have much recovery time. I guess the Ninja Turtle sees the pizza, and they're like, pizza time, because they're like, it's really cool that it's here. And now this is another one of those boss fights, as I might have mentioned in a lot of my other main reviews, that it's just really annoying that there's more than one target that's going after you, and you have to try not to be attacked by one while you're trying to fight the other. But I thought it was funny right before I died there how Bebop and Rocksteady bumped together. It really makes you think of the whole how they are in the cartoon, because really they are just like 2 nitwits in the cartoon, and they just like can't get their stuff straight. So it really is like it's a hysterical thing there. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is definitely a great arcade game. It's excellent nostalgia for anyone who was alive in 1989 or even like shortly after that, and I would highly recommend it for anybody. Do join me if you'd like, because I will be doing the second part of this game. I did a full playthrough with Donatello here, so if you want to see it, come back for my next video. I'll see you later.